Going to lesson 5 for 10, 11, I think. Yeah, 10, 11. Wow, 10th class. This time we did, like last time it was mostly noun, like what we like for the thing. But this time it's action. Action. So we kind of learned how to use verb to express what we like. So this was the hardest class I think I ever took. New words, and I couldn't imagine the spelling, so this was pretty horrible. Going out, going out. There were too many vocabularies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Wow, 14 new verbs. Yeah, 14 new verbs. That's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot. And yeah, this was so hard. This was seriously hard. Sorti, which means going out, like going out. I couldn't even remember sorti. There were too many vocabularies this time. And like faire du sport is kind of making sense because is doing, and du sport is do sport, so it's doing sport. And aller au bois is going to disco. Yeah, that was hard because I couldn't relate that to English. Yeah. Oh, and faire le magasin is going shopping, and this was hard too because magazine, the word magazine itself was hard for me to remember. And bois des amis is hanging out with friends or meeting friends. That was easier because des amis is friends, and I knew that. But bois was. It's like I have to relate things to kind of remember, and all these were hard. I couldn't relate English, Japanese, anything to remember these. It was seriously only using my ears. Yeah. And aller au cinéma, aller au restaurant, aller au café is going to cinema, going to restaurant, going to cafe. This was easy because aller is going, and au cinema or restaurant or cafe is all the words I knew. And surfer sur internet is surfing internet. And surfer is easier because it's surfing. But surf, which means N, was pretty hard for me to remember. But maybe that was more easy kind of group. This was the easier group. And lire is reading. Lire, so hard. It was kind of similar to literature. So it was a bit easier than others. And regarder la télévision. And my teacher often used regarder. So regarder wasn't like the new word, but it was my first time knowing the meaning. But like hearing that was not new, so this was pretty easy. And jouer à des jeux vidéo is playing game. This was seriously hard. Jouer à des jeux vidéo. Jouer. It's like that. And écouter de la musique. Same. Teacher always use écouter. He always say écouter de répéter, and so kind of not new word. Didn't know the meaning, like that. Étudier wasn't also that easy because I knew étudiant was student, so étudier, it's kind of like what students do, so maybe study. And this was hard. Ne rien faire, not doing anything. It's like ne. Like, we learned in the class that ne, if you if there's this verb and wait, between nu and pas there's a verb, it becomes negative. So it's ne rien faire. So I was expecting pas to go somewhere, but there weren't. So I was pretty confused with that. And hien, I don't even know what it means. I searched it, but it didn't come out. Yeah. Oh, and also this one. Faire du jardinage. It means gardening, but like jardinage, it sounds similar to gardening, but always get that mixed up with jardinage. Like jardinage, gardening, jardinage, gardening. Like I remember it now because I looked it back and I look at those words, but when I first listened to it, not seeing the spelling words, it was pretty hard. And I think I was only able to remember Aleo Cinema and Aleo Restaurant. And Faire du Sport. Only that. Which is pretty horrible. Yes. And the way we ask is qu'est-ce que veut faire le weekend? For what are you doing on weekend? And yeah, what are you doing on weekend is qu'est-ce que veut faire the weekend. Faire is do is so it's not wait for a second. No, I think I made a mistake. No, qu'est-ce que vous aimez faire the weekend is what do you like to do? The one I said before was what do you do on weekend, and it's not making sense. It's making sense but not making sense in this way. And when we answer, we say en général, which is on general, like normally, because we know that we don't do the same thing every week. So, and I kind of say j'aime or je préfère, blah blah blah. And when we ask what do you like specifically, it becomes qu'est-ce que vous aimez faire en particulier, which is particular, or surtout. Surtout is a nice word too. Like, yeah, surtout. And yeah, the example sentence on here is qu'est-ce que vous aimez faire le weekend? And the man is answering en général, je préfère sortir avec des amis, which means I like to go out with friends. En general. And no, yeah. En general, I prefer to go out with friends. And then the woman asks, d'accord, qu'est-ce que vous aimez faire en particulier? Which means, okay, what do you like to do particular? Particular? No, en particular. And the man answers, j'aime aller au cinéma ou au restaurant, which means I like to go out to cinema or restaurant. Yes. And oh yeah, we learned it's kind of grammarish. It's kind of fun with the grammar, but we learned that when the two verbs are presented, the first one is going to change by the subject, the second one doesn't really change and becomes a real one. Like the one doesn't really change. So, for example, if I say I like music, I like to listen to music. I say j'aime écouter de la musique. And écouter, if it's je, it should be act. But it becomes acte because I already use a verb aimer, aim. So it becomes j'aime écouter de la musique. Like that. Yeah. This class was the hardest because there were a lot of words I have to remember with my ears. I thought it was getting better, but I think it's getting better, but it's just yeah, maybe that this time these words weren't very capable for me. I wish the teacher changed his way of teaching, but I actually want to kind of improve my hearing ability because whenever teacher kind of vocally instruct us, it's really hard for me to kind of follow what we have to do because since I can't really remember with my ears, so I really want to improve that. So I think I want to try and keep up with the teacher, and I hope by the time I finish French, my hearing ability, my remembering ability are getting more better. Yeah, thank you.